my name is Rachel. I've been skating since I was 4.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I've been skating since I was 20.
And today we're going to give you some advice as professional figure skaters.
Like, that's actually crazy, right? You can't say you're not flexible.
Figure out what works in your schedule.
These lessons are so freaking expensive. Like in Jackson's.
What am I scared of? It's quite discouraging.
Consistency is probably the most important thing.
Hey guys, it's your figure skating big sis Rachel. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe to become one of my skating sisters. This is my friend Kathy.
Hello. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I'm a competitive figure skater based in New York City. I actually started skating when I was 20, so it's never too late to start skating. So feel free to ask us any questions today. No question is a dumb question.
To see the other part of our collaboration on Kathy's channel, we're tier ranking some fun figure skating tropes. How did you first get into figure skating?
I just wanted to do something for myself. Figure skating was actually never one of my childhood dreams or anything. It wasn't like, oh, I grew up and I was like, I watched Ice Princess and I was like, I want to be that. I actually never considered figure skating.
Really? That's actually so cool.
When I was going through college, I was going through some really tough times where I just felt like I was getting sucked into, doing what everyone else was doing, and I was just really not happy. So that's when I decided to just go super left field and do something I'd never done before, and I was like, let's try figure skating.
That's so cool.
And I just got rental skates. Let's give this a go, and I just fell in love with it.
That's so cool. I'm gonna just try this and it become a huge part of later in life, because I feel like a lot of people assume figure skating you have to start early. A lot of things in your life you don't know if you're gonna like it if you start that early, especially if you're a kid.
True.
Yeah. Because I started at 4 and my parents just basically put me into classes. I did learn to skate. I went through the whole thing of that, and then I got a private coach. I also did synchro as a fun thing.
Oh, I didn't know you did synchro.
Yeah, I did do synchro for a really short period of time. It was really good for building a community and having friends, and also learning how to skate with other people.
Right.
Really wasn't that serious from 4 to 13, but because I used to live in California, so I moved up to Washington, and that's where it kind of got more serious. We had regionals in our area. So that's basically how I started skating, and once I turned 13, I matured, and I was like, oh, I actually kind of want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's actually crazy. You have 16 years on me, girl.
What's your favorite thing about each other's channels?
Ooh. I love how unfiltered you are and how real it feels. Being preachy, I don't know, trying to impose anything on anyone. I feel like you just try to build a really genuine connection with your audience, and I really, for example, the video you did about filming your gold test or whatever.
That was crazy.
It was just so real. You could feel it. I like how you just share everything about it, the good and the bad, and you're just a really genuine person. So I'm sure all your subscribers really appreciate it.
I really like your channel because you're so informational, but in a very fun and entertaining way. Everything is so accessible when you talk about it. I feel like a lot of people think figure skating is really inaccessible.
Yeah.
I mean, monetarily, it is definitely inaccessible.
Oh yeah.
In terms of starting it and getting into it, anybody can do it. And I think you make it feel easy to get into it and make it welcoming.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's the one thing, we love skating. We both do, but it is the truth about the sport. Some parts of it can still feel very inaccessible. With the rise of more creators like you and me, whether it's sharing information or sharing just our personal experiences, I think it really helps reach out to a broader group of people out there who want to get started but really don't know how to. So
what is a good skating schedule for beginners? How many sessions to skate a week? I've been coaching for 3 years, privately anyways, because we both do learn skate classes. I've been doing that for probably a decade. Whenever I get new students, ask them what their goals are, especially because all my students are children. I ask the parents, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish?
For your child.
Yeah, for your child.
Because the child's probably doo-doo-doo-doo.
First of all, my rule is every 30-minute lesson is 1 hour of practice. It's really important for kids, especially when they're young, because then they can learn how to self-correct. So I would say go skating first, see if you like it. Figure out how much it is. You can watch any of our videos. We talk about that a lot, how to get into it. 1 lesson, and then skate afterward, and then go another day of the week. Yeah. When you first start.
Yeah. No, I mentioned this in one of my how to start as a beginner videos on my channel as well. One of the things I would say is at the very beginning, I wouldn't recommend I'm going to take 2 to 3 lessons a week, because you also need time to practice to just get the things of what your coach is saying into your body and into your brain. Over time, that will get faster and faster and easier.
What skates and blades do you both have? I have Jackson Premiers. I'm sorry, I hate them. I used to have the ones that had I don't know if it's the wood or the cork heel, but now they have the silver heel, and it's not actual leather, I don't think. And I have the Gold Star blade, but
Okay.
I'm getting Resports.
I feel like we're just like doing Jackson slander because I also
Jackson
like
slander.
I also like don't like Jackson. Jackson's my first like official skate. I think I had something that looked very similar to yours. Where
What
they
is,
had
do you know what it's called?
It's called the Jackson Debut.
Debut? That's what my skate guy recommends. Do you recommend it?
No.
You're like, oh, teen.
No, I don't know. I personally didn't like it because it was just so stiff. When I first started as a beginner, I didn't really know how to bend my ankles. So with something so stiff, I felt like I just couldn't move at all. And it definitely didn't help my skating. This is also a controversial opinion. Currently, I have Adeas. I have the Adea Ice Flies, and the blades I have is the John Wilson Gold Teal Revolutions. And I would say some people are like, oh, Adeas like breaks down really easily, which I do think they break down pretty easily, especially if you skate like a crap load. I really like them because they're really easy to break into. They're like the only boot brand that you can pretty much skate relatively normally, like the first couple of like days and weeks you get them, because they feel pre-broken in, which is also why I guess they like break down fast.
Just figure skaters have to be flexible. Like, this is the thing. I've been skating for so long. Compared to other people, I'm like relatively flexible. But I don't think I'm that flexible because like
it could be you can do a human. You can't say you're not flexible.
Yeah.
If you can do a human.
When people say flexible, I think you just need to be able to like touch your toes. You don't have to do like wide spirals and stuff like that, but you do need to be able to at least a spiral.
When I started, I actually couldn't touch my toes.
Oh.
Like, that's actually crazy, right? Like, to think that like now, oh, I can like put my like palms down to the floor is wild. When I first started the first year, I like committed to stretching for like an hour every single night.
Wow.
It was like, and after a year, I was able to like touch my toes and everything.
Wow.
So you can definitely work on it.
Yeah.
But I will say with that, there are still like physical limitations. Like, for example, I really worked on my flexibility. I can do my splits like the front way, but I can't do the middle splits.
I can't do that either.
To save my life. Like something about the muscles, like in my inner thighs, just like it will
Okay.
not go down. Definitely, you need like a baseline level. Like, you should work on it because it's also helpful in injury prevention. Because if you try something new that requires a little bit of extra flexibility and you don't already have that from just off-ice stretching, which we both have videos on, it's easier to get injured. So I would say like it's not a must-have, but having mobility is very helpful in just any sport.
Extreme flexibility isn't necessary, but stretching is necessary.
Yeah.
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 What is your quick daily off-ice routine? I have like a 10-minute off-ice routine. I'm getting old, so I need to like actually
You're getting old?
I used to like never warm up, I'd just get on. Rolling my entire body, doing a bit of dynamic stretching, doing rotations, and then getting my skates on.
For a warm-up, I do a 10 to 15 minute warm-up that I have like a video too on my channel for the whole routine. A couple of standouts is definitely doing some sort of exercise that warms up like your glute muscles and your hip muscle, because a lot of skating is like twisting, turning. It's a lot of like hip stuff. Before you skate, make sure you do dynamic stretching, not static stretching, because you want to warm up those muscles. Like, too much static stretching might actually be not so great. Do a little bit of like a strength workout. Maybe do some clamshells or do some like glute bridges, because it trains your muscles to start firing so that when you go skate, your muscles are already like, okay, I know what I need to do.
How do you guys get over mental block and fear of jumping jumps?
Ooh, hard.
You can go first.
Okay, because I have a huge mental block. I think what helps is understanding like what triggers that fear. And for me, I have determined that it's because of my ankles. Like, I'm really scared of like breaking my ankles, especially when I see you do your double axels and like when you fall and your ankles are crossed. When your ankles are crossed and you fall and you like fall like this, and then like I see your ankles go like this, and I'm like, oh, like how is she doing that?
Yeah.
But it's actually not that bad. What I kind of noticed is like, okay, that is my like fear point. Now, how do I overcome it and give myself more confidence to get over that? So for me, I started working on like my ankle strength a lot. It gives your brain confidence that I'm doing something to make myself stronger, so that even if I fall that way, it's not gonna like break me, because that is what the fear is actually coming from, right?
Yeah.
And also just like exposure therapy. I think you need to fall more or just be comfortable with it. or even like falling slowly and just like getting used to
Yes.
the feeling of like being close to the ice.
Yes, like especially when I start like teaching people how to ice skate, I always make them fall like immediately once they get on the ice. Usually when I have a fear of something, I'm like, what am I scared of? My double axel, I'm scared of like slipping off of my edge, missing like my toe. Doing a lot of exercises to help with that. Not specifically like exercises to strengthen like a certain part of my body, but exercises to get the feeling of the jump.
Yeah.
If you have a fear of falling in terms of being embarrassed around other people,
yeah.
that's also a big thing. I started learning a new jump and it's actually been kind of hard because I'm like, I don't like falling in front of people. Low-key really embarrassing, but also everybody who's done this jump knows how hard it is.
Yeah.
And if they're judging you for that, then that's kind of like a them issue.
Yeah.
And you just need to focus on yourself and
Yeah.
what you're doing, and remember that your progress is gonna be different than somebody else's progress because we're all different people. There's no predetermined time it should take to get like literally anything on the ice.
We always overemphasize how much we think other people are like looking at us and like judging us. Because to be honest, everyone else on the ice is having to mind their own business because skating is hard as hell.
How much time did it take to land a single axel? So I landed my single axel around 13, but I was thinking that you could still give some insight because you're learning it right now.
Yeah.
Axels are like your first big jump.
Yeah.
When you're learning to skate, it takes, I would argue, the longest to get, just because it's your first jump where you have to like actually snap, because I can't get it on the double axel either. It's like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So when I was learning how to do my axel, sure, we're both perfectionists. Like every skater ever. But I was a perfectionist. I get really upset over it because I was like annoyed at myself because I wasn't getting any better. But first of all, like progress in skating, it probably takes like 3 months. Like you look back and you're like, oh, the past 3 months I've made like this make of it.
Yeah.
It took me about a year. I wasn't like that serious, so like keep that in mind. But it took me about a year.
I can definitely provide like a different perspective because I started skating obviously like years beyond like, you know. But I started skating when I was 20 and I'm here to tell you that I can still not do an axel. And I've been working on that craft for 6 years now, I think. Like everyone's trajectory like looks very different, right? Just because like I'm saying like, oh, 6 years plus and Rachel's saying 1 year doesn't mean like you need to be either or anywhere in between, right? Like your journey is like your journey. There's also a lot of circumstances that come into play. Like for me, I've gotten injured like a good chunk or good handful on and off in my career of being a skater. So I felt like a lot of times where I was getting really close, I would like kind of get set back from injury. And that's something that I didn't think would happen before because I was like, oh, you know, if I just work really hard, I'll get in like a year or two. But like sometimes like life happens.
Any tips on dealing with injury while training?
I love how you just like looked at me, you're like, your turn.
Your turn.
Yeah, I've been injured quite a bit. If you watch any of my videos, you probably know that I always seem to be injured, unfortunately. Injury is definitely a very common thing, especially, you know, if you start the sport later on. When you get older, your body, like our bodies obviously get a little bit more fragile and you really have to pay attention into doing like the off-ice stuff we talked about, like strengthening to make sure you keep your body healthy. When going through an injury, first of all, like don't be disheartened by the whole process. Don't feel like because I can't skate, I'm gonna forget everything. Like, oh my God, like this is the end of the world. It is not the end of the world, even though it can feel like that sometimes because what a lot of people don't talk about is injuries are not just physically awful, but they're like mentally awful.
Yeah.
It can hurt and everything, but nothing's worse for me personally than like the mental part. Because I'm such an active person, I love skating so much. When I can't do that, it eats up like a huge part of like
it takes so much of our
my
time
identity. Yeah, exactly. Something that helped me is trying to like fill that time, the activity that I can do with my body. So that was really like focusing on my recovery and like listening to everything like my PT was telling me. So even though like the exercises were like very like small, I was like barely doing anything like compared to like the normal training we're used to, it was like nothing, right?
Yeah.
But still like setting aside space and time for me to like go to the gym, it feels like I'm still dedicating a chunk of my time to doing activity.
Since I've been pulling like this muscle in my knee when I'm doing my double axels, it like causes me to stop doing it because I don't want to like hurt myself more.
Yep.
But then I just can't practice it more because the time in between is just too long to like have a consistent flow of working on something.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to go to PT. Not because my body hurts to the point where I can't do anything normal, but like what I want to accomplish is not accomplishable unless I go to PT or strengthen up like these parts of my body. Even though it can seem like a lot of work, if it's something like that, it will be worth it to be putting in that effort, because also, like when you come back from injuries, you're supposed to come back stronger because you're doing more exercises than you ever have in that area.
Yeah. When you come back gradually, and also don't come back too early, because I made that mistake before. If you come back too early and your body's not ready, you're just gonna get hurt again. It's gonna prolong the whole process. Like,
just go really slow.
Yeah.
Way slower than you think, unfortunately. Yeah. You're like, I can do this, but like don't.
Yeah.
Like, can you do it? Yes, but should you do it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Add things back slowly.
How do you find motivation to skate when you get tired or unmotivated? We both made videos about setting like achievable goals and stuff. And I think first of all, making sure you have a plan and like realistically knowing how long it will actually take, because everything takes way longer than you think. If it's getting boring, adding new things into it that are like different and fun, but also like spending time doing stuff that you like doing on the ice that aren't just like practice stuff.
Consistency is probably the most important thing, and I would say that's definitely hard when you're feeling unmotivated. So certain like little tips and tricks that I will do is I like to personally put the things that I hate working on, aka the things I'm bad at, at the beginning of my session, because I think just starting the session I feel like a lot more motivated. I'll set like a little timer for myself, or you can even look at the clock at the rink. I would just say like, I will practice my backspin for 5 minutes straight. Putting that time aside is really helpful for me to dedicate like time to do things that like I usually wouldn't be so motivated to do, because it sets like a concrete thing I can work towards. It's almost like gamifying the process a little bit, versus like just skating around and be like, oh, I don't want to practice my backspin, like my backspin sucks, you know. Embracing like the community that is at your rink. You definitely don't have to be like an extroverted person. Like, I'm actually pretty introverted. Like on days that I'm unmotivated, if I know that I'm gonna see like people I love at the rink, like friends, that also helps like get me up in the morning. Okay, I'm going to training today. It's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fun because I'm gonna see great people.
Yeah, that's good. Period, babe. Does cardio help skating endurance? I used to run, but I also felt like I had less energy. We both compete, so endurance is very important, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When I was taking my gold test, like I failed it so many times, and I was like, I don't ever want to do like double run throughs and whatever.
Ooh,
but I had to.
Double run throughs.
I know, I did it like twice a week. I did double run throughs twice a week.
No, that's
Hill drills. So basically you do all of the jumps 3 times back and forth, running your program back to back, or just running sections of your program.
My coach would make me run my program, and after I run my program, she would make me do like the hardest element that you struggle with a lot right after. Legs are like jello.
Yeah.
I'm like, no! That's like the best.
Usually when I finish my program, I do like a few laps.
Yeah, I also
fast laps.
Not finish your program to just go to the boards and take a drink of water. Zoom around the rink at least twice.
Yeah,
that's
at
like,
least twice.
Yeah, skating is already a lot of impact. I wouldn't actually recommend like long distance running, because I think like running is a lot of like impact on your knees as well. I would say like what I've learned is to train for the endurance and cardio aspect of skating is to do a lot of like intervals and like efficient cardio is like what I like to call it. So what my PT has really helped me with is I started doing intervals on something called an assault bike. It's like super niche. Like no one really knows what it is. It simulates feeling doing your program off ice.
That's
like
cool. I've never done
that's
that
like it's the closest equipment, gym equipment, provided that like same level of like holy shit.
Yeah.
Like it's low impact. I literally do it for like 5 minutes and you like burn so many calories.
Where'd you guys get your skating clothes or skating accessories? We both have videos on like skating clothes.
Once again, this is like the 8th time I'm saying.
We're like the same person. Like another question I got asked was, what's your favorite activewear brand for figure skating?
I personally recently started trying Pop Flex. Logolotti's, she does a lot of like fitness YouTube videos, and she started her own line of clothing, and I never really tried them until recently, and I would say they're so comfortable.
So good.
And I would say also like not only just functional, but they're very like cute. They're very like fashionable, and Lululemon's is classic. Literally like it's so funny. I feel like Lululemon is like
the like
yeah,
sleeping jacket.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the figure skating
yes.
jacket. Uniqlo actually has some really, their heat tech series keeps you really warm.
I like Popflex and Lululemon. I really like their dance pants. People ask me a lot about my dance pants. The wider pants that I wear, like with pants underneath, so I have double layers.
Oh yeah.
One other brand that I really like is Halara. I would say it's like not the best quality. Like it's not as good as Popflex because Popflex is really soft, but they have like a very classic athletic feel to their clothes in a lower price range for you guys who can't afford it because it's expensive. Lastly, my favorite place to get leg warmers is Yes Style. They have a ton of styles. They have a lot of like clips and like fun accessories. So if you want to get those, you should probably go there.
Oh, one last thing, Aloe Yoga.
Really? I've never bought from them. It's so expensive.
They're very freaking expensive. The only time I buy Aloe Yoga is Black Friday. Like the tearaway sweats
They do?
that I wear at like every single competition, because you know how it's really annoying to like take stuff off after you have your skates on?
Yes.
It's like impossible. You have to unlace your skates and like it's a whole ordeal. I can take off like my second layer of pants with my skates on.
What is your favorite skating program performance ever? That's a good question.
That's a good question. We're actually making a second video about this where we will actually be like tier ranking the, you know, tropiest like performances and songs in figure skating. So feel free to check that out on my channel. But what is your favorite one as a little preview?
So basic.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it La La Land?
Yeah.
It's okay, I also skated to La La Land.
Which song?
Part of it is Another Day of the Sun. And then the beginning is like, I want used to like
that one?
Then it goes okay.
Yes, that one. The one. Oh, the barefoot, like she jumped into the river.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking
about. I'm the hugest La La Land stan. Those programs were some of my favorite, but like I've skated to it multiple times. More recently, I really liked the one that I did to California and Me. That was actually when I was here last year in New York. I did it with Honest Perspectives. I'll link it down below.
Yeah, I should check that video out.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's so cool. It also like had to do with like a big time in my life. So I was like, oh my gosh, like we're turning a new leaf.
Yes, I know, all to live.
Yeah.
This is also so basic. I love me a good Move on Rouge program.
Yeah.
It's just so good. You know, the soundtrack just like always slaps, so.
I mean, skate to like what your heart desires, because it will like show.
Exactly.
When you're skating.
Yeah. So that's our personal favorites.
Advice for how to budget for skating as well as time management between a job, skating, and other hobbies.
That's a long one, but I did do a video on my channel about how to budget that has like literally the world of details, and also like how to balance like figure skating with a full-time job, because I am actually a corporate girly. Quick tips for budgeting: definitely like being an athlete or like choosing something you love doing or a passion comes with its like sacrifices. Whenever you introduce something new to your life, especially something as expensive or as kind of cost sensitive as skating, I would make sure you understand that like this is something you really, really want to do, and if it is, definitely take into other considerations in terms of like making lifestyle edits, especially when you're first starting. I know that freestyle sessions can sometimes be like very pricey, expensive. A good hack is, I know public sessions are a lot cheaper, but they're also a lot busier. However, when you're first starting, you learn really, really small things from time to time. I had to learn 3 turns, which take up like a little chunk of that, right? Especially if you're doing it from a standstill. For my personal like practice time, I'll go to like a cheaper public session, pick like a little corner, and just like work on 3 turns over and over, because I needed it anyways. For the most part now, I skate freestyle, but that's because like I've been skating for like multiple years now, right?
For testing, do you prefer to test moves, free skate at an in-person test session, or sending in your videos online? Also, do you have any advice for becoming a gold medalist? I personally think testing in person, specifically for my gold free skate test, I took it 3 times online and they didn't pass me each time. Like I get like 1 pass.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think the reason why I passed it in person is because they could like see my confidence. They could tell that I was gold medalist vibes, if that makes sense. Like if I came in and I wasn't confident and I was like skating like not with like gold medalist energy, then they wouldn't give me. Through video, that like doesn't translate. Specifically for the last test, I think it might be good to do it in person, and like maybe the first few ones, just so you like have practice of doing it like that. I don't think testing online is a bad idea because it can really help you get the test faster. I
also recently tested a moves in a field test. I actually haven't even like posted about it on my channel, but because it was so traumatic. We're good, we passed. Everything's fine. I would kind of echo what Rachel said. I did virtual and it was like a nightmare. There's so many like little like restrictions in terms of like how you film and like how many skaters need to be on ice, and like if someone like blocks like you when you're doing a certain move, because obviously like unless you have private ice, there's gonna be other people on the ice. So that was just like so stressful for me because my coach and I had to do like so many takes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like about to go to California, so that was like my last week here.
Yeah, the deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that like with virtual, like you can do multiple takes versus like in person is like one or done. But high key, I feel like the one and done is almost better. Prepare to lock in and you're just gonna like do the thing, right?
When you take a test online, you're expected for it to be perfect. And when you do it in person, it's okay if you make a small mistake. Yeah, there's like pros and cons to each one for sure.
I would say I prefer in person.
Yeah.
Especially for the free skate test, I feel like, because it's a performance. Your free skate test is not like moves in the fields where you're just like boring moves. I have strong opinions about that one.
We had strong opinions. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want to watch Kathy's video now to watch us tier rank some very basic skating tropes, you guys should watch it. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to become one of my skating sisters. Subscribe to Kathy's channel too. Where can we find Kathy on the internet?
I exist on YouTube at Kathy Ding with 2 G's, and also that on Instagram. And I'm also on TikTok now at Kathy Ding Skates because my other username wouldn't work. So
Thanks for watching. Bye.
bye.